In 1974, Roy Mitchell walked into a Woolworth's on Woodward Avenue in Detroit, sat on a spinning stool, and ordered the same thing he had ordered every Saturday for 11 years. The waitress, Gloria, already had the coffee poured before he took his jacket off. He brought his wife, Dorothy, the following week, then the kids. Saturday mornings became the thing the whole family lived for. 4 people, 1 counter, under $3 including pie. That Woolworth's closed in 1979. The building is a parking lot now. Gloria retired to Flint. Nobody ever made Roy's coffee the way she did. There were 100,000 lunch counters in America at their peak. By 1985, most were gone. Not because the food was not good enough, because America decided a parking lot was worth more than a stool. These are 25 lost lunch counter foods that vanished from America. Number 17 will surprise you. Number 14 will hit you somewhere specific. Subscribe now. The countdown starts. Number 25. Hot turkey sandwich with gravy. You sat at the counter on a spinning stool. The waitress brought it on a white oval plate without asking what you wanted with it. She already knew. 2 slices of white bread, sliced turkey, brown gravy poured over everything. A scoop of mashed potatoes on the side drowning in the same gravy. A hot turkey sandwich cost 65 cents in 1972. Today, the same plate runs $12 at a diner that calls it nostalgic. The turkey was sliced from a whole bird roasted that morning. The gravy came from the drippings. The bread went soft under the weight of it all. Hot turkey sandwiches came out of New England diner culture in the 1930s as a way to use Sunday roast leftovers. By 1965, every lunch counter from Boston to Los Angeles had one on the menu. For a factory worker on a 40-minute lunch break in 1972, this plate was hot protein and warmth for under $1. He ate it standing up at the counter 3 times a week. Number 24. Patty melt. You remember the sound it made when the cook pressed the burger down on the flat top with a spatula. That sizzle, that smell of beef fat hitting hot steel. That was the patty melt starting its life. A patty melt cost 75 cents in 1973. Today, it runs $14 at a retro diner in a neighborhood that used to be working class. Ground beef patty on rye bread with Swiss cheese and caramelized onions, griddled on both sides until the bread goes dark and the cheese melts through the onion. The patty melt was invented at Tiny Naylor's drive-in restaurant in Los Angeles in the early 1950s and spread through truck stop diners and lunch counters across the country by 1965. For a truck driver eating alone at a counter in Tulsa in 1974, this sandwich was a hot meal with one hand while he read the newspaper with the other. Number 23. Chicken fried steak with white gravy. The cook pulled it from the fryer and it hit the plate still crackling. White gravy came out of a ladle and covered everything. 2 slices of white bread on the side. A cup of coffee already waiting. A chicken fried steak plate cost 85 cents in 1971. Today, the same plate costs $16, and the gravy comes in a separate ramekin. Cube steak dredged in seasoned flour, dipped in egg, dredged again, fried in Crisco until the crust goes golden and shatteringly crisp. White gravy made from the drippings with milk and black pepper. Chicken fried steak came from German Texan immigrants in Central Texas in the 1850s. By 1970, it was the most ordered lunch counter plate in Texas, Oklahoma, and across the southern states. For a rancher eating lunch in Abilene in 1972, this plate was the meal that got him through an afternoon of fence work. Number 22. Grilled cheese and tomato soup. She slid the bowl across the counter without spilling a drop. The sandwich came on a small plate beside it. The bread was buttered on the outside and pressed flat on the griddle until it went the color of old gold. The soup was Campbell's tomato, made with milk instead of water. A grilled cheese and tomato soup cost 60 cents in 1972. Today, that combination at a trendy cafe runs $15 and comes with a description on a chalkboard. Velveeta or American cheese between two slices of white bread. Butter on the outside, pressed on the flat top for 3 minutes per side. The grilled cheese became a lunch counter staple after Kraft introduced processed American cheese slices in 1950. Paired with Campbell's tomato soup, it became the default lunch counter combo across the country by 1960. For a child homesick from school in 1973, this was the lunch her mother made. For a widower at the counter on a Tuesday, this was the closest thing to home.
Number 21. Open-faced hot beef sandwich. One thick slice of white bread on the bottom. A pile of roast beef carved from the steam table. Brown beef gravy poured over the top until the bread disappeared under it. A sprig of parsley nobody ever ate. An open-faced hot beef sandwich cost 70 cents in 1972. Today, a version of this runs $13 and is described as rustic. The roast beef was slow-cooked overnight. The gravy was made from the drippings in a commercial roasting pan large enough to bathe in. Open-faced hot sandwiches came from British pub food traditions carried to America in the 1800s and became the centerpiece of Midwestern lunch counter menus by 1940. Every blue plate special in Iowa and Nebraska featured a rotating version of this dish. For a farmer driving into town on a Wednesday in 1973, this was the meal that cost less than $1 and filled him until supper. Number 20. BLT on white toast. 3 strips of bacon, 2 leaves of iceberg lettuce, 2 slices of tomato. Mayonnaise on white toast, cut on the diagonal and held together with a toothpick. A pile of potato chips on the side. A BLT cost 65 cents in 1972. Today, the same sandwich is $11 at an airport cafe with a name like Harvest or Table. The bacon went on the flat top at the start of the shift and stayed there all morning. The toast went down when you ordered. The sandwich was assembled in 45 seconds by a waitress who had made 10,000 of them. The BLT entered American lunch culture through club car dining on railroad trains in the 1920s and moved into lunch counters by 1940. By 1970, it was the second most ordered sandwich in America. For a secretary on a 30-minute lunch break in Cincinnati in 1973, the BLT was lunch, efficiency, and pleasure at the same time. Number 19. Here is something nobody says out loud. The lunch counter was not just a place to eat. It was the only place in working America where a factory worker sat on the same stool as a bank manager, where a waitress knew your name and your order before you opened your mouth, where a short-order cook behind a steel counter fed 300 people a day and never once got a reservation. That counter was democracy. Real democracy. Not the kind written in documents. The kind practiced on spinning vinyl stools over hot coffee and a plate of eggs. Gerald Kowalski knew that. He drove 12 minutes to that counter every Saturday, not because the food was special. The food was ordinary. He drove there because Patricia smiled when the coffee came, and the children argued over the last onion ring. When the counter closed, something closed with it. We have not found a replacement. We keep looking. Number 19. Chili with crackers. The bowl was thick ceramic, and it came to the counter hot enough to burn your hands. You wrapped both palms around it anyway. The crackers came in 2 cellophane packets beside the bowl. You crushed them into the chili before you started eating. A bowl of chili cost 50 cents in 1971. Today, a bowl of chili at a sit-down restaurant costs $9 and comes with 1 tiny cornbread muffin. Ground beef, kidney beans, tomato, chili powder, cumin, and onion. Simmered in a commercial pot that held 8 gallons and never fully emptied. Chili came out of Texas border cooking in the 1840s through Tejano women called chili queens, who sold it from open-air stalls in San Antonio. By 1960, it was on every lunch counter menu in America. For a construction worker in Dallas in 1972, a bowl of chili and crackers at 11:30 was the meal that got him through concrete work until 6 p.m. Number 18. Tuna melt. The story goes that a waitress at a Woolworth lunch counter in Charleston, South Carolina in 1965 accidentally dropped a tuna salad sandwich onto a grilled cheese. The manager told her to serve it anyway. The customer loved it. By 1970, it was on every lunch counter menu in America. A tuna melt cost 70 cents in 1973. Today, it runs $12 and sometimes arrives with avocado on top, which is a crime against history. Canned tuna mixed with mayonnaise, celery, and pickle relish, piled onto white bread. A slice of American cheese on top, slid under the broiler until the cheese bubbled. The tuna melt appeared on Woolworth's national lunch counter menu in 1968 and spread to independent diners by 1972. For a librarian eating alone at the counter in 1974, the tuna melt was hot, filling, and cost less than $1. She ate it with a cup of tea and a slice of pie.
Number 17. Egg salad sandwich. 4 hard-boiled eggs, mayonnaise, yellow mustard, a pinch of salt and celery seed, white bread cut in half. No crust if you were at a proper lunch counter. An egg salad sandwich cost 55 cents in 1972. Today, a version of it at a sandwich shop runs $10 and is described as farm fresh. She made it fresh every morning. She boiled the eggs before the counter opened. She mashed them with a fork, not a mixer, because a fork left texture. She spread it thick and generous. Egg salad sandwiches became a lunch counter fixture across America during World War II, when meat was rationed and eggs were still available. By 1955, they were standard on every lunch counter menu from Maine to California. For a woman returning to work after raising 3 children in 1972, the egg salad sandwich at the counter near her office was lunch for under $1 every single day. Number 16. Navy bean soup. It came in the same thick ceramic bowl as the chili. Pale white beans in a broth the color of old ivory. A slice of ham floating in the center. 2 crackers on the side. A bowl of navy bean soup cost 45 cents in 1971. The United States Senate dining room has served it every day since 1903 and charges considerably more. Dried navy beans soaked overnight, simmered for 4 hours with a ham hock, diced onion, and a bay leaf. The beans broke down at the edges and thickened the broth without any flour. Navy bean soup came from American colonial kitchens in the 1700s and became a staple of institutional cooking, military mess halls, hospital cafeterias, and lunch counters by 1930. For an elderly man eating alone at the counter in 1973, this bowl cost 45 cents and kept him warm for an afternoon. Number 15. Liver and onions. The smell hit you when you opened the door. That sharp iron smell of liver hitting a hot buttered skillet. The onions were already in there, going translucent and sweet. The cook turned the liver once and only once. A liver and onions plate cost 80 cents in 1972. Today, you cannot find it in most American restaurants at any price. Beef liver sliced thin, dusted with flour, seared in butter for 90 seconds per side. Caramelized onions draped over the top. Mashed potatoes and green beans on the side. Liver and onions was a standard lunch counter plate in industrial American cities from 1920 through 1980. German, Italian, and Eastern European immigrant communities all had their own version. Why did we stop ordering this?
Who decided that a cut of beef packed with iron and B vitamins was beneath a lunch counter plate? Number 14. Pimento cheese sandwich. In the South, it was on every lunch counter menu before you even sat down. In the North, nobody had heard of it. That divide still exists, and it still matters. A pimento cheese sandwich cost 50 cents in 1972. Today, food writers call it the caviar of the South and charge $14 for a version with artisan bread. Sharp cheddar hand-grated on the big holes of a box grater. Diced pimentos from a jar. Mayonnaise. A pinch of cayenne. Stirred together until spreadable. Applied thick to white bread with a butter knife. Pimento cheese originated in northern industrial kitchens in the 1870s, but was adopted by the South in the early 1900s and became a cultural identity food across Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia. For a secretary in Atlanta in 1973, on a 40-minute lunch break, this sandwich was as familiar as her own handwriting. Number 13. Cream of tomato soup. Not the thin kind. Not the kind from a restaurant that floats a basil leaf on top and calls it Kraft. The kind that came in a thick ceramic bowl with a rim of cream swirled in by a waitress who had been doing it since 1958. A bowl of cream of tomato soup cost 40 cents in 1971. Today, a version of it at a bistro runs $9. Campbell's condensed tomato soup opened into a saucepan with whole milk instead of water. Heated slow until the surface shimmered. Poured into the bowl and swirled with a spoon of cream. Campbell's invented condensed tomato soup in 1897 in Camden, New Jersey. By 1950, it was the default soup at every lunch counter in America. For a woman eating alone at the counter on a November Tuesday in 1973, this bowl cost 40 cents and lasted 20 minutes of warmth.
Number 12. Hot dog with all the way. In Chicago, it meant yellow mustard, neon green relish, chopped onion, tomato, a pickle spear, sport peppers, and a dash of celery salt. No ketchup. Never ketchup. If you asked for ketchup, the counterman looked at you the way a priest looks at someone who talks during the sermon. A Chicago-style hot dog cost 50 cents in 1973. Today, the same dog at a famous stand on the north side costs $6. An all-beef Vienna beef frank in a poppy seed bun, steamed until the skin snapped when you bit it. Every topping placed by hand in a specific order. Number 11. Chicken noodle soup. It came to the counter in the same ceramic bowl every time. Thin egg noodles, small pieces of chicken, carrots and coins, celery and half moons. A broth the color of old gold that tasted like it had been simmering since the Eisenhower administration. A bowl of chicken noodle soup cost 45 cents in 1971. Today, the same bowl at a diner-style restaurant runs $8. For an elderly woman eating alone at the counter on a cold Monday in 1974, this bowl was the only hot meal she had that day. Number 10. Piece of pie. You always ordered it, even when you said you would not order it. The pie sat under a glass dome on the counter, and the waitress cut it with a pie server that left a clean triangle on the plate. A scoop of vanilla ice cream if you asked. Whipped cream from a can if you did not. A slice of pie cost 35 cents in 1972. Apple, cherry, peach, or lemon meringue. For a child sitting beside her father at the counter in 1973, the pie was the reason she agreed to come. She would tell you that herself. Number 9. Roast beef hash. It was made from yesterday's pot roast. Nobody pretended otherwise. The cook chopped the leftover beef and the leftover potatoes together on the steel cutting board, pressed them onto the flat top with the spatula, and let them go dark on the bottom before flipping. Roast beef hash cost 60 cents in 1972. Today, upscale diners charge $15 for a house-made hash and act like they invented it. Nothing wasted. Everything honored.
That was the lunch counter philosophy. Number 8. Grilled liver sausage sandwich. You either know this sandwich or you do not. If you grew up in the Midwest in the 1960s and 1970s, you know it. If you grew up anywhere else, you have no idea what has been missing from your life. A grilled liver sausage sandwich cost 55 cents in 1972. For a German-American grandfather in Milwaukee in 1973, this sandwich was not a meal. It was an argument that the old world was better than the new one. Number 7. Stuffed bell pepper. It sat on the steam table all afternoon in a shallow pool of tomato sauce. The green pepper had gone soft from hours of steam. The filling had fused into a single cohesive thing: beef, rice, onion, and tomato, that held its shape when the cook lifted it with tongs. A stuffed bell pepper plate cost 75 cents in 1972. For a Polish-American machinist in Cleveland in 1973, this was the taste of his grandmother's kitchen, served on a spinning stool at noon. Number 6. Salisbury steak with brown gravy. The gravy arrived before the plate did. You could hear the ladle hit the ceramic from across the counter. The Salisbury steak was oval-shaped and dark from the skillet. The mashed potatoes were white and bordered by the spreading gravy. A Salisbury steak plate cost 80 cents in 1973. For a retired steel worker in Pittsburgh in 1974, this plate was dignity for under $1. Number 5. Macaroni and tomatoes. You will not find this on any trendy restaurant menu. You will not see it in a food magazine. But if you grew up in a working-class American home in the 1960s and your grandmother made it on a Tuesday, you never forgot it. A bowl of macaroni and tomatoes cost 35 cents at the lunch counter in 1971. Number 4. Hot fudge sundae. You did not order dessert at the lunch counter. You ordered a hot fudge sundae. There was a difference. The dessert came on a plate. The sundae came in a tall tulip glass with a long spoon and a paper napkin folded under it. A hot fudge sundae cost 45 cents in 1972. Today, the same glass at a retro ice cream parlor runs $9. Number 3. Egg and olive sandwich. This sandwich has almost vanished from American food memory. But if you ate at a lunch counter in the 1960s or early 1970s, you encountered it. It was on the menu right between egg salad and tuna. Most people who ordered it once ordered it every time. An egg and olive sandwich cost 50 cents in 1972. Number 2. Chicken salad on toast. She made it fresh every morning. She poached the chicken breasts in salted water. She let them cool. She pulled the meat apart with her fingers. She mixed in mayonnaise, diced celery, a spoon of sweet pickle relish, salt, and a pinch of tarragon. A chicken salad sandwich cost 60 cents in 1972. Today, a version of it at a lunch cafe runs $13.
Number 1. Blue Plate Special. There was no set recipe. That was the point. The Blue Plate Special was whatever the cook made that morning from what he had. It changed every day. It cost less than everything else on the menu, and it was always the best thing in the room. A Blue Plate Special cost 65 cents in 1972. That included the entree, 2 sides, bread, and coffee.